Families and survivors of the largest massacre in Latin American history are finally getting more answers today. People in El Salvador have been waiting 4 decades to uncover additional details about the U.S.-trained Salvadorian soldiers who killed more than 800 civilians, including many children. White House correspondent Serena Marshall broke this story. She joins us now with how U.S. officials caught one of the suspects in the mass murder. Serena.
Jay, you said it. It is one of the worst massacres in modern contemporary Western Hemisphere history. It's called the Mozote massacre, and nearly 800 to 1,000 non-combatant women and children were slaughtered in 1981. A specialized unit responsible, trained, and supported at the time by the U.S. government, who denied this massacre at the time had occurred. But we've now learned exclusively that one of the section commanders, Roberto Antonio Garay Saravia, is responsible and charged with crimes against humanity, has been apprehended here in the U.S. by ICE.
When this massacre occurred, there was just a little, very small officer corps. So it was a very elite position, no matter what your rank was. He was, however, a second lieutenant at the time. And he, as a second lieutenant, he was in charge of what is called a section command. The section command and the second lieutenants were the people who actually carried out the massacre. They weren't the top people who ordered it, but they are the people who carried out the massacre.
Now, he was taken into custody as part of a targeted operation by ICE on Tuesday. In 2014, Garay Saravia entered the U.S. legally, but he wasn't charged in connection to the massacre until 2017. And with crimes against humanity in El Salvador, violation of the Geneva Accords, which they are signatories on, until 2019. Part of the reason for that roughly 40-year delay, because of an amnesty agreement in El Salvador that protected the perpetrators. A Supreme Court decision overturned that ruling in 2016, paving the way for those responsible to finally be held accountable. Now, ICE has told me the investigation was initiated by their HSI Human Rights Violators and War Crimes Center, who obtained evidence of this connection to those human rights violations. He still does, Jay, though, need to be prosecuted before removal.
White House correspondent Serena Marshall with that exclusive you will only find right here on Scripps News. Thanks, Serena.